Here's quite possibly one of the funniest men in the world, without a doubt. Good friend of mine. Would you welcome Mr. Buddy Hackett?
You got some chance of survival if anything goes wrong.
It's going to be a wipeout for me.
If anything goes wrong in this world, that's it. You wouldn't know how to hail a cab. He finally got the fire going back there.
Well, he had a cigarette lighter.
But look how he took all the skin off his hand. Pieces of skin, nails were falling in there. He kept hitting himself and knocking off. He's got 4 fingers left.
Yeah. Were you ever a scout or anything like that when you were a kid?
I was a scout.
Were you really?
I went for a merit badge in animal husbandry. They caught me with this animal one night. And actually, I was trying this. I got 2 rabbits, see? It's hard to keep 2 rabbits on a fire escape in Brooklyn. They keep falling through the slot. And I had 2 rabbits, and I was raising these rabbits to take them in for... We used to meet in the basement of the school.
Right.
Now, no one ever seen rabbits before, especially in, Jewish neighborhood. They didn't eat no rabbit meat.
No.
No, they wouldn't even test them for nothing. They used Jewish animals, a mink. I had these 2 rabbits, and, and they committed rabbit acts on one another. And pretty soon I had 4 rabbits, and then 8 rabbits. I had so many damn rabbits, I had to quit the Boy Scouts. I didn't have no time to do nothing. Luckily, I knew how to make knots, and I choked them.
A rabbit in a square. Now, I drove my mother nuts when I was a kid. I raised white mice.
White mice.
And they were all, and they breed, they're as prolific as rabbits, and they have 5, 6, 8 to a litter. And we had them all over the house, the basement, because they grow, from the time they're born. In 6 weeks, they're ready to reproduce. And it was incredible. We had mice coming out of the basement in the house and everything.
Don't they make their own rat pellets?
Yes.
I mean, you can buy them in the store. But I noticed they make quite a few of their own.
Yes, that's another problem.
You could go skidding around the house, all right. Yeah, I slid into the bedroom one day.
Didn't you ever get to go to summer camp as a kid at all?
No, we were kind of poor.
I know you were.
If we went to a summer camp, I'd sell it. We didn't. We had a place up in the Catskills, Shimon's Bungalow Colony. And we paid $5 a week to live in one room, the whole family.
Is that right?
Yes, we got out of the tenement. We paid $5 a week. And 12 weeks, we paid $60 for 12 weeks, and we all lived in one room. It was me and my mother and father and my sister and an aunt that lived with us. All in one room, and then we had the use of a kitchen that we could use part of it with other families. Downstairs was a kitchen and a dining room. And one summer, we didn't have no money to go back home with. So after 12 weeks of exciting time in the forest, came time to go home. There was no money, and the guy let us stay on through the winter for $5 a month.
A month?
A month, $5 a month. And I went to a school. This was a place called Spring Glen, New York. I went to a school up on top of a hill, and used to go home on a piece of cardboard. You got an old piece of cardboard from a packing case, and you just sat on it and slid down the hill, And you come down, you hit a tree here and break a rib, and then you rip your pants, and you come home and soak them wet and black and blue and say, what a good time I had coming home from school. Because you wanted to get down fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you had to rush you to the hospital 4 miles away to tape your rib, it took a little longer that way.
What happens when you tell your kids this now? Because you grew up, as you say, in poverty.
Unless they're going to watch this show, they never know about it. I never tell them this.
Yeah, well, a lot of parents do,
So
when I was your age, I had to do this, and kids say, big
I
deal.
told them, Dad, I'm sorry that they have to grow up the way they do, but I gave up my title. I was the king of Yugoslavia, and When kinging was no longer popular, I give it up. I renounced my title. Otherwise, I said, I got the crown somewhere. I melted it down into a hubcap and put it on the Chevy.
Now, was this after you went to Sun Camp? You upholstered for a while.
I was an upholsterer. What do you mean? I started upholstering when I was 7. My father...
That's right.
My father made me apprentice. Do you know, one night, we had a store. We paid $20 a month rent for the store on 13th Avenue, Brooklyn. I'm sitting there with my father. It's 10:30 at night. There's no heat. It's me and my father and a dog. The dog is our dog, and he loved us. Looked like he couldn't make up his mind that if we didn't give him something soon, he's going to eat one of us. He'd already eaten all the dead rabbits. And the dog looking at us, and he was purring. I said, how funny for a dog. And a guy come in and told my father, like this, with his hand in his coat pocket, he said, all right, this is a stick-up. Now my father sits in a chair. It's 11 o'clock at night. I'm 7 years old. I'm still up. It was warmer in the store than it was in the house because there was the glue pot cooking there. Fish glue. Phew, terrible. And it's terrible on bread. But the sandwich never opens up. But that's all we had to eat most of the time was fish glue and silk floss, which we got out of the cushions. So this guy tells my father, there's a stick-up. Now my father keep right on working. And he looked at the guy and says, there's no one here. It's just me and my boy. So if you got a real gun, you would show it to us. Now, I don't know if you got a gun or if you ain't got a gun. But this is a real hammer. So now you got a choice. You'll either show the gun and go on with the holdup, in which you'll find out that I got about 35 cents. Or you'll take your hand out of your pocket, you'll take off your coat, and I'll teach you a trade so you wouldn't have to go around making fake holdups. This is a true story. The guy took off his coat, he started to cry. I was 7 years old. I thought now when he's got his coat like this, my father could hit him with the hammer. But my father didn't. He taught him to be an upholsterer.
Yeah.
And today, the guy owns a big company in New York. And I wouldn't mention his name because it would embarrass him, you know, that he
That's interesting. I didn't know that
couldn't
story.
pull off. No? Well, it's hard. You know, I start to remember. You get old, you reminisce. If this was a rocking chair, I'd rock out 2 more stories.
We're going to put that thing on rockers. What were you like when you were in the service?
When I was in the service?
Yeah. Were you doing shows?
Well, I was such a good soldier that one week I captured John Wayne.
Were you in the infantry?
No, I was in the anti-aircraft artillery intelligence service. I was a spy.
Oh, come on.
You don't believe that?
No.
How about a cook? Would you let me be a cook?
I'll let you be a cook.
Okay. Well, I never really got to be a cook. I went to Cooks and Bakers School. We got to Camp Upton.
Where's Camp Upton?
Camp Upton out on Long Island, New York. Me and my friend Vic. I've got insomnia. Even then, I couldn't sleep as a kid. I can't sleep much. Now I don't sleep very much. That's why I'm so smart. I'm up reading all the time, waiting to fall asleep. I'm a tired, smart person. So I see in the middle of the night a guy, we're in the Army 2 days, a guy's tying a towel on a guy's bed. And he's tying on Vic's bed, and then he ties on my bed. I said, it ain't no good. No one else got towels. The guy goes out, I moved the towels to another bed. About 3 or 4 in the morning, a guy wakes up those 2 guys. Come on, you're going on KP. What for? You got a towel on the bed. We were on yesterday, wherever the towels are. They got to go for KP. You know, you were still...
So you got hip to that.
I knew that. There was a couple of guys snoring. I put towels on their bed. I knew they wouldn't snore the whole night. About 3 o'clock, I'll get some rest. They're going out. KPing. Now, I want to, you know, I didn't get enough to eat, so I find if you go to Cooks and Bakers School, you eat pretty good. So the guy, I put down, what the aptitude, what did you do? I was a cook. I tell him I was a cook. Now they say, cook, where'd you work? I worked in the Zion cafeteria. I worked in Silver's cafeteria. All places I went to eat with my father in the morning. I told him I cooked there. And How long did you work? Oh, since I was a little kid, I worked there. My grandfather owned it. My grandfather didn't know nothing, you know. So now they put me in cooks and bakers school. They say I gotta learn the army way of doing it. Guy come out with a beer barrel belly like this. Say we're getting 1,500 recruits coming in. I want you to have 2,400 pancakes and 60 gallons of coffee and have it ready for about 6:30. I'm gonna take a little shut off. You know how to cook? Oh, sure. You make pancakes. Not everybody makes pancakes. I used to read the box, the label on Aunt Jemima. 1 cup of milk, 1 cup of flour, stir, get the lumps out, a little bit of butter. I made one at a time. They had a griddle from where the band is till here, griddle like that. And they had a mixing bowl to wash elephants. You put an elephant in, you go, elephant. I shovel with a shovel, I filled up, I poured in milk, gallons of milk, and I turn it off. I start to dance with the machine there. Now there's all this nice, no lumps there. I took it like this, I squeezed. Oh, baseball. No, that's a lump. I get the lumps out. Now the griddle is nice and hot. I put some grease on the griddle, little drips off, it starts to burn. I figure it'll be charcoal pancakes there. Then I start pouring batter. I pour batter. By the time I got to the end, the ones in the front were burning. So I run back up and I get the spatula. Flip, paste on the ceiling. See? Nice white kitchen, GI clean. GI clean. Uh-oh, scrape, they're all burning now. And there's smoke, and I'm scraping them off and hiding them, huh? Now I want to get that one off the ceiling, because the guy comes back, they're going to put me right in a soldier outfit. I don't want to be. I want to cook. So I get the shovel, the broom from the back of the stove, and I didn't know, I use it just for soot. I go to get that thing off, and I make nice black on the ceiling from the soot from the broom. So I get a mixing stool, and I stand on the stool with a wet rag to wipe it. And it just gets nice and muddy. And I take a bucket of water, boom, it fly out of my hand and broke the window. And the guy come back in, and there's burnt pancake and the batter, boom, and it's flying around. I put on too fast, and the ceiling is black, and the stool is busting, the window's busting, there's water. And he said, all right, who did it? I said, I did it. He says, if you don't tell me who helped you, I'm going to throw you out of the school. I told him I wasn't going to tell on nobody.
Let me do this. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. We're back. Every time Buddy's on the show, we never plan anything, because Buddy's one of the few people who can come in, and every time he comes on the show, he says, gee, I don't know what I'm going to talk about tonight. And I try to think of things you've talked about before and try to jog your memory. I know we've told this story a long time ago, and I've repeated the story about when you were playing golf once and what you did.
Coming out naked?
Coming out, yes.
I tell that so many times, and everybody else tells it.
I know, but it's a true story, and everybody thinks it happened to somebody else, but you did it.
I've met, since it happened 20-some-odd years ago,
yeah.
I must have met 5,000 people that claimed to be in the original foursome.
Right. It was you? Who else?
Jan Murray.
Jan Murray.
And Jimmy Demerit, and a guy named, I think, Charlie Cooley, but I'm not sure.
And you went in, you sliced into the woods or something?
I went in the woods on the 12th hole up at the Concord Hotel up in the Catskills. That's where I met the alluring Shireen Dubois.
That's your Shireen Dubois?
My wife was a mambo teacher up there at the Concord Hotel. She used to teach dance. She was one lesson ahead of the students. Marie Rubino, she was the head teacher. Really beautiful.
Yeah.
She just didn't have quite a big enough bust to really be sharp, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was a bust out, is what she was.
Shireen Dubois.
But Shireen was terrific, magnificent. The sheer ecstasy of her. I saw her up there dancing. And I turned to a guy and I used language I very seldom use. I said, hark. Well, my old neighborhood, you didn't say hark too often. You say hark, they'll shoot you with an arrow. Hark, I said. Wherefore art yonder lass? And the guy said, Shireen Dubois.
Pretty name.
Yeah, and the name grabbed me, because all my life I went out with girls named Frida Finkelfutz or something. When I heard Shireen Dubois, it was like the Eiffel Tower. Then I met her mother, Esther Cohen. You know, I've talked about Esther Cohen for so many years. Years ago with Jack Parr and with you and with so many. You know, she passed away this summer.
I didn't know that.
Yes, she was a nice lady, too. But I talk about her still because I figure maybe she knows I'm talking about her, you know.
One never knows.
You never know, you know.
Anyway, tell them the end of that story. And I know you probably get tired
what
repeating
was
it. The golf story
the
you
golf
started.
Story, yeah.
You jump around
That's
all
a
over.
terrific story.
It's true story. That's why it's the
Anyway,
same.
I hit the ball. They all hit the ball. You know, Demerit, of course.
Just takes a second.
Magnificent shot down the left, and Jan down the left, and the other guy, and I sliced into the woods, and it was a hot August day, and I was carrying a wedge and had brown and white golf shoes, and just something come over me, and I just peeled down naked and stand there naked and fungo the mushroom, and it nearly fungoed back. Don't you fungo me, and I won't fungo you. And I start yelling, help! 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 And they start running across the fairway, see what's happening, and I stood naked out of the woods and yelled, the locusts are upon us.
Locusts. Crazy stuff. The locusts are upon us.
We'll take a brief word that we have McLean Stevenson joining us and John Kidner after this word.